Hello everyone. Greetings to Professor Suherman and friends in my IUP class. Today I would like to explain a little bit about sustainable consumption, which is the fourth chapter for cleaner production toward a better future. Okay, so let's review a little bit first. What exactly is cleaner production? So, cleaner production itself can be related to any strategies, designs, or actions that are applied in processes, products, and services with the win win design to not only become more profitable in the economic sense, but also to take preventive measures to ensure sustainability toward the process itself. So, this includes the prevention of waste generation while also making the process, product, and service designed to be more economic with the social benefits, health benefits, with more safety and more environmental benefits. So, the advancement of cleaner production in this current era has shifted to a macro scale. So, we are not only discussing about cleaner production in one company, but also to discuss how ecology or the industrial ecosystem can be applied, in which one industry's waste or generation can be used as another industry's feed. In other words, it is in a way that every waste is used as a company's feed, creating essentially zero net waste. So that's where we are now. And regarding for chapter four itself, which is sustainable consumption, consumption itself is very an important factor that we must consider, especially when we're talking about sustainability. So, how does consumption interfere with the environment? When it comes to fulfilling our daily needs, whether it's the food, for the comfort, or for whatever that we require, we always need to use natural resources, whether it's the form of energy, whether it's the form of food, or whether it's the form of clothes or anything else. All of them will consume resources, whether it's energy or like natural resources, as in feeds or other materials. Whenever we use these items, it's always indirectly consuming something from the natural world. And because of this, whenever we consume an overly large amount, it causes the world to be degrading in its ability to regenerate. What this means is that if we continue to take without replenishing or replacing what we take, and also consuming more than what we need, it causes an unbalanced cycle that depletes the resources essential for our daily lives. And even now, at our current rate of consumption, we're actually already consuming more than what the earth is able to regenerate. This is also especially affected by the trend that is currently occurring in our world, where consumerism usually causes people to buy impulsively and more than what is needed, whether it's the flash sales or just the general quick purchase things. All of that is supporting uh, unsustainable consumption, where it's usually causing a higher amount of waste being generated because we're buying more than what we actually need. And most of the times, even if the product is still functional, sometimes we throw it away directly without even recycling it or reusing it or reselling it for others. And because of that, it's generating a lot more waste than what could have been. And because the companies and their production is reliant on the customers. So for customers who have this kind of mindset, this kind of unsustainable habits, the companies are also going to be more comfortable using their current habits or current design, which is usually more unsustainable. Because obviously, shifting to more sustainable options or newer options is going to take more time and take more resources at first before to complete the shift. And because most people are usually already comfortable with what they're used to, this will be more difficult. And then for customers who are concerned with the environment, will eventually lean to business that will implement cleaner production. So this is why it is important that we also consider not only from the business perspective but also from the customer's perspective, because when we want to have and purchase products that are more sustainable, this creates an incentive for the companies to shift to more sustainable options, not just using less resources but using the resources smarter, efficiently, and responsibly. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about the needs and consumer behavior. And as I mentioned before, because consumption is directly related to how the customers are going to behave, we have to understand that since the current rate of consumption is exceeding the Earth's capacity, it will permanently damage the Earth's ecological stability, and it will eventually exhaust the resource to extinction at some times. And because of that, it's very urgent and important for us as humanity and society as a whole to ensure that the future generations are able to sustain themselves and have the resources that we have right now, so that they can live comfortably as well. And as I mentioned before, consumer habits are an important factor. That's why for the shift for environmental paradigms that are new and to be more sustainable, it is important that we also shift from the awareness and the knowledge and fill up all the gaps that are required. So consumption behaviors are usually influenced by multiple factors, whether it's the economic factors, psychological factors, or cultural or social factors, environmental awareness, and the mindfulness of the consumer themselves. And next, we're going to talk about the relationship between sustainability itself and the consumption behavior in the term of mindfulness. So, consumption habits have been unsustainable. And as I mentioned before, like we sometimes buy even like just the general is phones. Sometimes we have to switch to a new phone every few years because of the constantly evolving technology. And sometimes the old phones are just thrown away or not reused or are not uh, whatever. The materials are still constantly being extracted from the earth, but lots of it is also ending up in landfills or just unused. Well, in here, mindfulness itself is the introspective action or the attention that is equipped for new challenges and to keep commitments for the betterment of society. In the context of sustainability and consumption, this recalls back to the intentional and thoughtful action of consumption, where we don't only purchase based on impulse, but really what we need and exactly what we need. So we're not buying more than what we need, and to make sure that these resources are used wisely, to see the bigger picture merely than the materialistic things in front of us, more than just the profits, more than just the money in terms of the business, but also just considering in a wider scale that not only for the current profits but for future sustainability and the future opportunities of the future generations. So one of the applications in the real world is called eco-labeling. So eco-labeling concept is the concept of using information collected by the companies to and providing them to the customers. So this includes like uh, the usage of water and the utilization of the waste, or how much waste is generated and how much wastewater is used, etc., etc. It's all related to the sustainability of the product in its entire lifestyle. So usually this is to close the gaps or knowledge or any information gaps, and to spread more awareness to the customers. So this also can indicate certifications like ISO 14001 and other certifications that will give it more accountability. So this also gives more transparency from the companies to the customers themselves, which also opens up for more accountability in terms of sustainability. And in the younger generations, this is also more important, because as the younger generations are more exposed to the climate change and the environmental disasters, all of the things that we are experiencing in the right now, and the shifts that we have to do, this causes them to have more awareness and more desire to know what is going on in the world, and to consider about their future, because it is their future and their future generations after them that is at stake with the current rate of consumptions and just depleting the natural resources they have. So for future references, the current rate of consumption is only we only need 8 months to waste all of the resources that the Earth can regenerate every year, and because of that, and not only that, but renewable resources are still scarce in applications and in the commercial market, because most of them is still unable to meet the demands. And not only that, but also with the lack of support from the government or lack of incentive, support, and awareness, the market is still currently not profitable enough for the companies to shift to this newer and sustainable shift or paradigms. And because of that, not only as the population and quality of life increases, this also means that the consumption of the average person will also naturally increase. because usually that means they have more economic ability to purchase new things and new items, but at the same time also unable to reuse them. Because of this, there's usually a lot of resources being extracted but not replaced or regenerated, which is very dangerous for the environment. So here are some of the key challenges, which is the knowledge and attitude, multidisciplinary, and the global policies or cultural habits. So as I mentioned before, that there is a current knowledge gap and awareness and the attitude of the general public towards conservation and also sustainability is still lacking. And reducing these gaps, even with promotion or with the spreading awareness and also the other training or practices, is very important for not only individuals but society as a whole. So we have to all work together. And also because it's a multidisciplinary problem where there are multiple sectors and areas of uh, study and all of the disciplinaries, they have to be able to collaborate in order to break the barriers of the gaps between these different disciplinaries. And finally, about the global policies and cultural habits, sustainability will definitely come at a cost, whether it's at first or continually, because mostly for the newer technologies, the companies will have to invest initially towards these new technologies and shifting the design, which is going to affect their comfort or accessibility. And because of this, the current market and trends are still leaning towards the old ways, which is unsustainable with overconsumption of resources. That's why these are the key challenges. And not only that, but the governments or parties that are in power are not implementing enough policies for sustainability, and they're not implementing it strictly enough. Because of this, and also the lack of support or incentives, is causing the sustainability shift itself to be delayed or even unprofitable. So, because of that, we also have to analyze the customer's needs, because companies are dependent on their customers, and customers can affect both companies and also the parties that are in power. So, because of this, it is important for us to analyze the needs and the decisions, the reasons behind those decisions, to bridge the gaps and to change the attitude and behavior of the people. Because once we shift and make the market more profitable, to have a bigger market and a bigger demand, so that not only the companies but also the government themselves will shift towards this new paradigm of sustainability. And because of that, we're all going to have to work together, bridge in the knowledge gaps and implementation of these new challenges, especially because of the economic challenge and also the new systems and strategies that must be implemented. That is all from me. Thank you very much.